I'm a bit under the weather because right now it's 11 degrees in the city, so my hands are freezing. And if you come from a tropical climate, your tolerance for cold weather is a little low, but I'm enjoying it nevertheless. So since this is underdeveloped, I'm walking towards the middle of two buildings. I'm not sure if that is a street over there, because this is still being developed, like I said. And I saw the building that I want us to visit from the station. Actually, two interesting buildings. It's just that I don't know how to access it, because you can see an undeveloped land over there, and there's a fence that goes to the direction that I want to go. So maybe there's another way to go there. See, it's closed off, and this area is also closed off. So try to go around and find the road going to that building, and see you when I find it. So I tried to go around and try to find our way to that building. And I also noticed this building by the metro, and I don't know if that's an old building and then they constructed an extension on top, and to contrast it, it's finished in, I don't know what material. We can't really come close, but the one at the bottom is brickwork, and the one on top is, I'm not sure, they contrasted it color wise. This side note, I like the metro that they didn't cover it up, so that the railway, the elevated track, doesn't feel massive, and you can see the train, and it makes the city more lively, and you can appreciate the aesthetic of the coaches. So I was saying about how dirty that this area is, but since the architecture is so strong, we sort of ignore it, especially from afar. There's such a thing in Filipino we call layogenic, wherein layo means far. So when you far from it, you actually don't see the dirty details or the dirty stuff around it. So it's the same case with this station. But when you're up close, you see the cigarette butts on the floor, some graffiti, and sometimes it smells like piss. But it's actually looking fine from afar. It's a well-designed metro station. So let's go around. So that's where we came from, and I turn around through that bridge, which I'm going to show to you later. And you can see there's really nothing here except the creek on my right, and a nice walkway same level as the road, divided by a paving for drainage maybe. And it's going to be a long walk. It's a good thing that the weather is comfortable, albeit cold. But I'm looking forward to seeing that building, because somehow I can see a glimpse of it. Very simple lamppost made of steel. I actually don't have to go back to show that the footbridge to you, because it has a copy here along the way, and you can see that it's made of steel with the concrete interior or lining, to make probably the walking more welcoming as compared to walking on a rusting steel. So that is the profile, and the steel sort of merges with the natural part of the creek. So we are now approaching our destination. Interestingly, that blockish wooden structure is interesting. So this is I think a popular walkway jogging spot or laughing stool for families. Can you see it, guys? So here we can already see, I don't know if the Swiss Alps or the Mount Everest. This is an aluminum panel, perforated. So from afar it looks like you can really see the image that the architect was trying to show. And then I can imagine it at night, light coming from the inside, so it will be like, you know, like the negative space. So pretty interesting architectural treatment. I wouldn't say that it is attractive for residential type of design, but you know, it's always about questioning what is appropriate and what is good. And this time the architects, Bjarke, and I think JBS was also part of this. They used to be collaborators, or they were part of one firm called Plot, and they designed this together before they separated. So this is basically 2/3 parking and 1/3 residential apartments, and they call it the mountain. It's also called Bjerget. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. And also, since I think it has the same developer as the neighboring building called VM Houses, so I don't know which came first, but interestingly they were hired to design both apartment buildings. So this is the mountain. You can see that the apartments are made of like wooden type of villas. You can see the glass, and then on top of it are roof gardens, and I think it has an extensive watering system. And over time, depending on the weather, the colors of the plants on top of it changes. So from this angle it looks very different. It looks actually homey, like a series of blocks made of wood with plants on top. So we encounter the same bridge again. So I didn't know we can access this place from the roadway. So there's an apartment at the ground level, but you can see how the designers wanted the parking to be part of the street, and then it gradually slopes up like a mountain. So since it's sloping up, I figured that even the parking area is sloping up as well. I'm not sure how many cars are fitted in this facility, but I reckon, I think it's about 400 slots, car slots. And like what I said about the Tour Ep project, you can see that the architecture is very strong. So even though they personalize their own space, it still looks very, you know, strong architecturally. So you have probably aluminum panels, and then juxtaposed by a very striking green interior ceiling, and then you have concrete columns. Oh wow, this is really a cathedral space, cathedral-like space. Like for a parking space, like it's really celebrated in an astronomical way. So you have a nice mural, and then you have, you know, a staircase going up to the last floor. So I guess predominantly this is supposed to be a car park facility, and then this is the ramp, standard design ramp, and then each level on the underside of the residential area is colored differently to probably code it like this is level 3, this is level 4, and make it interesting as an interior. So the lowest most floor has the green color, and then I'm not sure, I'm sure these are apartments as well. So if you can park here, you can easily access it through these hallways. So the feel is that you're in a condominium, and yet the moment you get out of your villa, it feels like an apartment, a townhouse, a villa on a mountain. So I've only seen this in magazines, in documentaries, and I didn't expect the parking area to be this massive. It's so grand. And you know that well, Bjarke worked for Roma, and I think there's some influence there. And it's interesting that it's my first time to see an elevator moving diagonally. So you know, there's no such thing as back of the house or an ugly part of the building. So even the parking is actually celebrated. You have like small details, like even the EGD, or the environmental graphic design, is designed in such a way that it fits well, like a graphic poster. And then also the directions and the lighting, and the rest is just unfinished, left bare, concrete, so that it can age well. It's hard wearing. And this is the perforated aluminum panels. So from afar, it's like a pixelation of an image of the mountain. Again, I'm not sure if it's the Alps or Mount Everest. That's why they call it the mountain. So I don't know if this is part of their design. I think tak means thank you. So I will try to access it from the side, because I noticed that there were a father and kid waving back to me. So, and I want to keep it low since this is a residential area. I don't want to be intrusive. It's just basically a tour of how exemplary design-wise this building is. So this is how they control security. So you need to input your code in order to get to the main staircase in the middle, and then to the diagonal elevator here. Really impressive. So that way they control the access to the residential areas. So this is the ground residential area. So interesting green color of the wall, and then big numbers as your address. And then you have the mailboxes, and this is a really nice open bike parking. So I'm not sure how public this place is, but nobody has stopped me so far. And you can bike on the sides. Wow, look at the car park space. It's really like a mecca of cars. I want to find out how many cars can fit here, but the last time I read about this project, it's about 400 plus. So right now I'm conducting class on designing high-rise buildings, and of course one of the major considerations is how to fit cars in a slot, and that would also affect the layout. So that's how basically how we were taught to design pragmatically in order to maximize the efficiency of a building. So I think so that is another hallway. So you have the green floor. I think the first two floors are the greens, and then these are the yellow. And then we have perforated steel flooring. And like I said, I saw this upon entering. This is an equally interesting architecture. So I'm so happy that we are allowed. That's the elevator going down diagonally. We are allowed to come here and explore the area, and the first time to see a car in action parking in this space. So as you go up, you are enjoying the view of Orestad. And then, what is this building? This is really nice. Like, I can see kids building something, and it has a nice green roof. So anyway, let's go back here. Let's not stay out of focus. More car slots, generous provisions for the driveway, and then you have some murals on the wall. So even the cars climb on a mountain. So these are again the hallways. You can see them from here. So the underside, like I said, is equally interesting. So you can see the 5th floor, the red, the orange, the red, orange, the yellow, and the green. So maybe this is one way for the residents to access their unit, especially if they're located at the topmost part of the building. So this is probably an office. So that is the building that I was talking about. No, that's the other one, the white one, and now you have the brick, and then you have the copper type of building on top. So I don't want to point the camera to them because I don't want to trigger them and stop them from exploring this building. So definitely it's an office, probably a combination of office or residential, but I'm a little bit scared of height, and I don't know if it's a good thing that I start noticing it, but when you look down, it's really scary. Okay, slowly. Oh my god, why did they make this perforated? I don't know, maybe I have to go down already. I feel a little dizzy already, but all for the experience. Okay, I want to distract myself. If I'm in that space, probably I'll be more comfortable. That building with the brick, again, I think it's a common condition of buildings here. Okay, I think I feel better. Why did I even notice my fear of height? Okay, so this is a cladding. So you have a different color again here, and just screwed to the wall, and I can see the steel inside. Shit. Okay, I feel better. So now, yeah, this is the residential area, and I don't know what this space is, but definitely probably something that the community can enjoy. But I mean, generally I think people would think it's a waste of space. Yeah, it's a combination of probably residential and office, and you can see the interiors like in a very intentional pattern, I would think. So you have balconies on the side. This is actually visible from the street level, forming the profile of the mountain, the underside of the mountain. So that's where I was, conquering my fear of height. So if you're a kid, I think this will be a fun place to hang out. I just don't know what this space is. So if you buy a unit from here, I'm not sure if you can get this open space. So there's a lot of areas. I mean, you can even park 2 cars here and more cars there. So I wonder if these residential apartments are meant for higher income market, because there's a lot of areas to spend for, more than to sell. Or maybe they sell the car slots. If you are a resident, if you're part of this business, just let me know. So those kids are enjoying their time. So I have a feeling this is pretty much a public area, because there are kids skateboarding, and probably they're gonna go down from the topmost area of the ramp and then all the way here and enjoy their descent this way. So so you can see the hallways with the car park. So they're really celebrating it. They're celebrating, like, while you're walking on the hallway, you can see this area, and normally we shun away from it, and here they don't, they just don't. So we are already going down. This is where we were earlier. So I guess the perforation is another echo of the perforated panels outside. So I want to do one last thing. I'm always curious about measurements, so I'm gonna bring out my measuring device, the distance of the columns. So from here to here, it's 9.2, and I want to see the distance of the driveway with the slanted parking. It's 8.7. I wonder if it's a standard distances. So let's see. Definitely generous provision of parking slots. So it's 9.2. It's really standard, and I want to measure the height of the finished ceiling. Although this one is slanted, so but just to give us an idea, 7.8. Okay, let me check if we can check the measurement of the lowest part, or the lowest finished ceiling line in this building. So far nobody has stopped me, and nobody's looking at me, and there's not a lot of people around here. Wait. So I guess this is the finished ceiling, very consistent anyway. So it's 5 what? Wait, let me do that again. Oh wait. So 2.3. Earlier I was just measuring this one. It's 5 point something. So 2.3. I mean, I think it's acceptable to have ceiling heights like this in this kind of project, because majority of the spaces are exaggeratingly high. So I reckon those standards of windows are also 2.3, still within standards. And then you have nice either bike rack, no, that's the bike rack, and these are probably informal benches. So I'll be a bit far, so not to be intrusive. So you can see those wood planks. So you have the cladding, and then wood planks, and then the landscaping, and then with the glass. So what separates the topmost part is the aluminum lining, and then you have the wooden windows. So I'm gonna try something. Wait, so again, let's appreciate the view from here. So it is as if the building was cut here and then it became a panel, and then the rest is like a mountain. I've seen initial photos of this when it was still newly built. The wood was still a little yellowish, and it's now aging and wearing beautifully, like a mountain. Like it's transforming. And this is the tipmost part of the building, and this is the side. Let's try to walk in this direction, and you can see that's like a normal backyard with a garden, with a barbecue stand. But of course, being an architectural landmark, people would visit. That's why they have vegetation. They put it as high as possible. So again, this is still residential. There's really no mix of other uses in this building. They also hid the structural. That's why you have a very clean profile of the wall and to the ceiling, except that some pipes, since it's negligible to expose, it doesn't really overwhelm your impression of the form. It's exposed. So same condition happens here. I think this is where we climb up. So even the graphics is also expressing the way you explore the building. So now we know it's 9.2, 9.2, 9.2. Normally we use an 8-meter grid. So what else can we discover in Bjerget or the mountain? So we basically, the car park is like a cave-like space, I would say. And actually pretty impressed by the diagonal elevators. My first time to see it. I'm sure they had to customize it just to fit this development. So I think there are more car park beneath the ramp. So yeah, so more car park. So it's really an exercise on ramps and car park. But just the same, it doesn't feel like, you know, they are greedy with the space and put in more cars in a little space. So yeah, it's a pretty open building, pretty interesting. And then of course these walls are either load bearing and also an exit, a fire exit. So I guess that's it for the mountain. So this is the road, the metro. As they say in Danish,